NBC Tonight.
I found a happy place, a really happy day.
With ingredients like roasted hazelnuts, skim milk, and cocoa, there's a whole lot of happy in every jar of Nutella. Spread the happy.
Your treatment plan should focus on keeping your body strong so you can fight your cancer without ever missing a beat. That's the power of integrative therapies. The evolution of cancer care is here. Learn more at cancercenter.com. Cancer Treatment Centers of America in Tulsa.
2 News, first on the scene of an officer-involved shooting in East Tulsa. Tonight, the new information we've learned since our breaking news coverage at 6, including how 2 children inside the home are doing tonight. Right now in Oklahoma City, police trying to piece together their own officer-involved shooting. As we go on the air at 10, there is new information on the condition of one of the officers. And 2 News putting community first tonight. We helped put together a town hall meeting for veterans who've suffered through delays in care and benefits at the VA.
And weather-wise, the weekend's wet and much colder. I'll tell you what you need to know to help plan your weekend.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm 2 News anchor Karen Larson. A violent day in the state's 2 largest cities, 2 officer-involved shootings, and that's where we begin tonight. A breaking news update in East Tulsa where police went to deliver a warrant and then things went terribly wrong. Since 6 o'clock, our team hard at work finding out more about the man at the center of it all. You see him here. 35-year-old Jason Rogers pulled a gun on police. 2 News reporter Liz Bryant, the only reporter to talk to the man, and she is live now with the very latest.
And Karen, today was the second time police arrived at this house in the last week. I just got through digging over court records. It shows that the man's wife filed for divorce 2 weeks ago. 2 News is the only station to capture paramedics taking Jason Rogers out on a stretcher. A few minutes later, his wife arrived to pick up their 2 kids inside the home. The kids witnessed this shooting.
He was mowing my lawn. He stopped and said, "Auntie, I'm going to get the boys from school."
Rogers' aunt doesn't want to be shown on TV. She said the 35-year-old struggled after officers in Washington shot his brother a few months ago.
I love you, Jason. I wish you were still here with us. And I know that your heart was breaking for your brother. You were a good person, and you always have been.
Undercover officers arrived about 5:20 tonight to arrest Rogers for a domestic violence call. Out in his front yard, police say he drew a handgun from his waistband, so officers fired immediately. Police stressed they told Rogers who they are and wore bulletproof vests with bold yellow writing that says police.
There usually is some indication of extreme violence or some extreme threat to public safety for SID to get involved in it, yes.
Minutes before the shooting, Rogers posted this on Facebook. "I and God know that I never abused my wife or kids, and I always worked. Yes, I've struggled with a drug addiction."
Why he would have pulled a gun like they said?
I have no idea. Only to protect himself from somebody that, who knows. I don't know nothing. He was mowing my lawn with my children.
Now, in 2008, Rogers pleaded guilty to domestic assault and battery in front of children. When I went up to the wife and the children today, the wife seemed as though she was kind of in shock, but the kids looked like they were staying as strong as possible. Live, Liz Bryant, 2 News works for you.
Thank you, Liz. New information at 10 on that officer-involved shooting in Oklahoma City that we've been following since 2 News at 5. We've learned in the past 2 hours that one of the officers thought to be seriously wounded has less severe injuries and will survive. Another officer was shot in the arm. Now, this all started as a call to a hotel in southern Oklahoma City where a woman was being held against her will. As the officers arrived at the door, several people burst out of the room and started shooting, wounding the officers. One suspect was wounded there. Then another man grabbed the woman, got into a car, and a short time later, police say that he was confronted by officers. Officers say he shot the woman, killing her, and that's when police shot him. In all, 2 suspects shot, and they're recovering. It's still unclear why the woman was being held by the men. Back in Tulsa tonight, police dealing with a murder in Midtown. Earlier this evening, I reached out to Sergeant Dave Walker. He told me officers are still working to find leads to identify the suspect. You saw the scene outside the Colonial Park Apartments as the story was breaking on 2 News at 5. A woman shot and killed following an argument with the person holding the gun. Neighbors couldn't believe their own eyes.
It's just heart-wrenching, It's one of the saddest things I've ever seen. I've seen people pass away that Never did I see anybody ever murdered like that.
Police have little to go on at this late hour other than the shooter took off in a red Toyota truck. An update now to breaking news we first brought you at 5. Police dismiss earlier reports of a shooting at the 3900 block of South Darlington. At the scene, police said that they found a young boy, a teenager, who claimed to be shot. But after checking his injuries, police say the puncture wound is not caused by a bullet. But investigators did arrest the teen for reportedly stealing clothes from Dillard's leading up to his injuries. New at 10, Oklahoma's top university president speaking out against guns being allowed on campus. More than a dozen college leaders rallied to the state capitol as Republican state leaders looked into whether students and faculty should be able to carry guns on campus. OU and OSU presidents testified they do not support guns on school grounds. In less than 1 month from right now, changes are coming to Broken Arrow's ambulance service. Under the city's old ambulance policy, once insurance paid, the city waived the remainder of a resident's bill. Operating the largest fire department-run ambulance service in the state, the change starting November 6th is all about making ends meet.
That's been a long-time policy of waiving the balance for residents. But as we can see from the numbers, that's just not sustainable.
Broken Arrow expects the ordinance change to generate $333,000 in revenue during the remainder of this fiscal year. A whooping cough case prompts a Green Country school to take action. 2 News reporter Nathan Edwards spent the day at Sepulpa Middle School to learn more about what they're doing to keep students safe.
Every student brought home this letter. It says parents need to watch for symptoms, considering many of the kids at school might have been exposed to the disease. Sepulpa parents have a lot on their mind after getting notice that a student went home with whooping cough Tuesday.
They normally keep track of our kids and take care of them.
Elena Morrison is confident the school is doing their best to keep her grandkids safe. But there are still some concerns because whooping cough, also known as pertussis, is highly contagious.
We wanted to make sure that students and staff and everybody that comes in the building were safe. Wanted to be proactive about it to make sure that it didn't get contracted and spread by anybody else.
After school let out Tuesday, the district brought in a crew to sanitize the building.
We changed each and every single air filter and then wiped down every single flat surface.
Right now, the principal tells me the school is safe and the problem is contained. But there are still a lot of questions from parents.
That made me go and say, hey, do I need to call her doctor? Do I need to get her, a shot? What can we do to prevent this?
Most kids are vaccinated against whooping cough before entering kindergarten. It starts to wear off at age 11, so doctors recommend booster shots.
I know they're up to date. We make sure they go and get shots.
It usually takes about a week for whooping cough to become active. The school suggests that all parents in the middle school watch their kids for a couple weeks just to be safe. Reporting in the 2 News Center, I'm Nathan Edwards.
Thank you, Nathan. Now, kids in one Tulsa neighborhood are better prepared to walk to school safely in the morning. The officers walked the streets around Mark Twain Elementary this morning in northwest Tulsa. You can see the kids parading around the school streets. The goal was to make them feel comfortable about walking or riding their bikes to school and home.
To bring awareness to the kids and the public about how they need to slow down in school zones now that school started back. Kids need to look left, right, left.
Police want drivers to be careful in school zones and really watch out for kids and buses. Over in the Weather Center, our Storm Shield meteorologist tracking our next chances for rain. Brett's mapping it out for us right now.
That's right, Karen. If you look at the sky, we call this a mackerel sky, never long wet, never long dry. So within a couple of days, with these alto cumulus clouds overhead, an indication that moisture is increasing in the atmosphere. So it looks like rain tomorrow night and much of the day on Friday. Right now, 72 in Independence, 74 at McAllister under clear skies. The storm system we're tracking is out here. It's the remnants of a tropical hurricane or a hurricane, Hurricane Simon, and all that moisture will stream toward our area come Thursday into Friday. Bus stop forecast for tomorrow. Don't need any umbrellas. It's going to be warm, humid, and dry, right around 70. Your certified most accurate forecast is coming up.
All right, thank you, Brett. Now the latest on Ebola in the U.S. Mourners gathered in Dallas to remember Thomas Duncan, who died this morning from the virus. Duncan was the first person to be diagnosed with Ebola in the United States. His neighbors in Liberia believe that Duncan became infected with the disease when he helped a sick pregnant neighbor who later died from Ebola. And now there's another possible case in the U.S. One of the first responders to enter Duncan's apartment may be sick. Michael Monig is in a hospital in Frisco, Texas right now. That's just north of Dallas. State Representative Mike Ritz called on Governor Fallin to declare a state of emergency for Ebola. Governor Fallin's team quickly responded, saying declaring a state of emergency when no Oklahomans are actually sick would be premature. They also say that the governor is working with hospitals to make sure they're prepared to treat any Ebola cases that may enter Oklahoma. Giving veterans the answers they need. 2 News partnered with the American Legion tonight to discover answers about the new health care law, how it will affect you. As a symbol of strength cut down to make way for new technology, what a superintendent's now saying about his decision to cut down trees planted to remember the Oklahoma bombing victims. First, though, a programming note for you tonight. Channel 2 is going back to Channel 2. We moved to Channel 9 a few years ago, you'll remember, because of the transition to digital TV. But now, starting October 14th at 2 a.m., of course, Cox customers will see us on Channel 2 and Channel 702. The change will not affect your DVR. Your favorite shows will still record.
And it's really the tale of almost 2 different seasons coming up over the next couple of days. We'll go over the forecast, the changes that are headed our way. Tonight, a gorgeous sunset from Alicia Hobbs of the Arkansas River. You're watching 2 News at 10.
From town to town and border to border, Oklahomans revel in the stories of our communities, generations of citizens, and the loyalty they inspire in us. Bank First. Serving towns made vibrant by investments in the ambitions of citizens, Bank First is uniquely Oklahoman, deeply rooted in 52 communities statewide. So one by one, the stories are told of towns bound together tightly by loyalty. To be a reliable partner and help a business or state grow,